So law of attraction abounds, and you are the point of the law of attraction, but you are 2 points of it. There's the inner being attraction and there's the you attraction. And every time you ask for something, your inner being knew what you meant and began attracting to you that. And when you hold yourself in not cooperation, then you feel that discord. It's about you and you. It's not about you and anybody else. And once you get that, oh yeah, they misbehave, and then you have a knee-jerk response to them. We get why you think it has something to do with them, but it really has very little to do with them. It's all about you. So once you begin to reflect on what the law of attraction is and who you are in terms of you were source energy before you came into this body, and a part of you came into this body, and this important physical you is sifting and sorting and coming to new conclusions about things because you're on the leading edge of creation. And you launch the rocket, and your inner being rides that rocket and focuses upon it and attracts the cooperative components so that the new life that you have asked for is in the womb, so to speak, gestating, becoming what you are wanting it to be. And then you finding ways to focus in the direction of that until you are a vibrational match to it, and then catching up with it so that you are in vibrational alignment with what you have asked for, so that as those thoughts turn to things, you get to witness the unfolding. That's the best of all life experience. The law of attraction is responding to the vibration that you are offering. We just want you to be aware of that. And when we said earlier, start with things that are easy, here's what we mean. Some years ago, Esther went to San Francisco for her first visit, and she was impressed with it in so many ways, but she was astonished at the hills and streets that people lived on and were driving on. And she and Jerry drove to the top of this neighborhood and looked down a street that went all the way down to the bay. She could hardly believe that she had managed to drive the car up there. It was impressive, to say the least. Later, when we were wanting to help her and others understand about the law of attraction and to discuss the momentum in attraction, we said, imagine putting your vehicle at the top of that hill and taking the car out of gear and releasing any braking mechanism, and then decide that you're just going to give yourself a physics lesson to see what would happen if you just pushed your car a little bit forward. So it's easy to do. You're at the top of the hill and you just nudge it a little, it begins to move. And then you come to your senses. You realize, because you understand about physics and gravity and inertia, you pretty much can anticipate what's going to happen if that car gets moving. And so you step out in front of it and you let it bump up against you, and it stops because you caught in the early stages of momentum. But you wouldn't want to be at the bottom of that hill trying to stop that car. Well, that's what we want to suggest relative to the thoughts that you've been thinking. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And some of those thoughts you've been thinking long enough that they have enough momentum that you're not going to stop them just because they're in your way. They have momentum that you're not going to give up on all at once. But in order to teach yourself the powerful law of attraction, and more important, your own creative control, and even more important, your guidance system and what your inner being knows about you, it would be so helpful if you would take a subject of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that you don't have a lot of negative momentum about, things that you really don't have much opinion about at all, perhaps, and you focus upon them just softly and watch how quickly the law of attraction brings you evidence of its response to your thought. If you can show yourself how the law of attraction responds to you, if you can make yourself the center of this universe where the law of attraction is responding to you, where you know that you've got a pure, non-resistant thought, and you see what happens with a thought that holds no resistance, and you see how powerfully and how quickly universal forces move in the direction of it, you will give yourself the power to be or do or have anything that you desire. But you've got to show yourself your own ability to release your own resistance, because no one else can release it for you. No one else can think your thoughts, therefore no one else can vibrate for you, therefore no one else can be your point of attraction. Now you want to say, but what about the power of influence? And we agree with you. There's a big power of influence, because You are so nosy about what's going on. You give your attention to all kinds of things that you don't want to live, but you give your attention to them because they're real, because somebody else is living them, and without meaning to, you practice the vibration of things that you don't want to practice the vibration of. And you know how you know that you're practicing the vibration of something that you don't want to practice the vibration of? It doesn't feel good when you think about it. And so we're just saying, you might want to begin as soon as possible to be nicer to yourself by choosing more thoughts that feel better to you. And then watch what a cooperative universe surrounds you, how powerful and loved you are, how worthy you are of a wonderful life, how many good things are in the wings for you, and how the only reason that they haven't come fully into manifestation in your experience can be for only one reason. You've got thoughts that oppose them that you offer frequently. That's all.
How important is specificity, really? Because I've been following you and learning. And
well, it's important. You answer this question, and then we'll answer that question. But really, when you answer this question, you'll answer that question.
Okay, it's usually not.
So you tell us, which do you prefer? Satisfaction or enthusiasm?
Oh, enthusiasm.
Which do you prefer?
Yeah.
Passion or contentment? So specificity is more momentum. So it's more momentum about wanted. It's also more momentum about not wanted. So the answer to the question is, if it feels good, be more specific. If it feels bad, be more general. Because when you are general, you can find your alignment more easily. So let's just say it like it is. Specific is the product of momentum. Makes sense? So if you've been ragging on something, if you got up and you tripped over something and you don't feel good about it, and you thought about it, and then you thought about it some more, and then a whole bunch of things like it started flooding into your mind, and then you call somebody and you talk to them about it, and you convince them how you feel, and now you get more specific, and now they've got some things, and now the entire universe will show you things like that until you break that evil spell. It's not a spell, but so
I'm not a real believer in goals anymore, like the gentleman's book. And I had things like the book when I first started to come to see you.
Let's be clear about this. Do you believe in your vortex?
Yes.
Do you believe that there are things in your vortex that are in the process of becoming for you?
Yes.
Then in essence, you could say there are some vibrational goals there. In other words, the word goal, you've asked for things and you're still focused toward them. So it doesn't really matter the word that you use, but what you don't believe in is struggling over something that is inevitable. What you don't believe in is fanning the flames of the absence of something. But in this moving forward universe that we are all a part, there will always be for you things that your life has caused you to ask for that are in the state of becoming. So we don't think that you don't believe in goals. We think you believe in not worrying about them anymore. Right. We don't think that you don't believe in goals. We think that you've decided not to struggle and strain. We think you don't believe in getting into the water and turning your canoe upstream and paddling hard kind of goals. We think you still believe in going with the current toward what you want kind of goals. Inevitable unfolding of who you are. Because you know what? We have to break this to you. When you croak, you're going to reach all your goals. You're going to be vivid and alive and full and secure and worthy feeling and in love with life and yourself and others. In other words, all those things that you desire will be yours in the moment that resistance is no longer part of the package.